What a great day to vibe code as a game developer. Cursor, here's a GDD about a space sim with realistic space battles. Nice. Oh, where are the space battles? Can you add that, please?
System scan.
Dude, I didn't ask to change the graphics, just add a simple enemy. If you've been following the game dev scene lately, you've probably heard everyone talking about this vibe coding thing. For those who haven't caught on yet, the concept is very simple. You basically surrender to the vibes and let AI write all the code while you just chat. It's like the ultimate dream for all those idea guys who have been saying for years they could make the next Fortnite if they just knew how to code. Is it actually good? I can think of 100 different reasons why this might be the worst idea ever. But my opinion doesn't matter. The only way to really know is to dive in headfirst and see what happens. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. What really got me curious was seeing all these AI bros suddenly diving into game development. So I had to see if this vibe code actually makes sense in practice. Here's what I did. I started by creating a super simple game design document. The concept? You're a chicken who accidentally gets sucked into a matrix by stepping on a cell phone. Your mission is to fight through the phone defense system until you beat the final boss, Cursor itself. So I fired up GameMaker, created a blank project, and started asking the AI to bring the GDD to life. Now, if you're expecting the AI to magically create your entire game in one shot, you're in for a rude awakening. That's what the marketing wants you to believe. But reality? It's more like trying to squeeze information out of a reluctant infant. Right from the start, I hit my first roadblock. The AI only managed to create a character and a single enemy. Not terrible, but definitely not what I asked for. It even added a prompt to press enter to restart. But guess what? It didn't actually do anything when I pressed it. If you're just vibing on not reading the code, you'd assume that it should work logically. I mean, that's what I would expect. After pointing out that glaring error, the AI fixed it, and I moved on to the next challenge, adding a wave spawner. This actually worked pretty well. But let's be real, it was still barely a game. There was no real gameplay loop, no progression, nothing that would make anyone want to play it more than 30 seconds. So I went back to the AI and I got straight to the point. And that's when things started to get weird. The AI was writing code alright, but it was breaking other components at the same time. See, when you're actually coding, you typically create one object at a time. You make sure that it works and then move on to the next one. And if something breaks, you know that it's a new object causing the problem. But the AI, it looks at everything all at once and decides to change multiple things simultaneously, which breaks everything. Not exactly helpful when you're trying to figure out the root cause. And remember, I'm just vibing here, not actually reading the code, and I'm letting the AI take over. After a bunch of back and forth, I finally got something working. It even added different enemy types and some health drops. Not bad, but still, it's not everything that I asked for in my game design document. And now that the basics are done, I shifted my focus on creating an upgrade system, and I wanted the AI to fully focus on that. Some of the card upgrades work, and others were completely broken and did nothing. But hey, I decided to roll with it and asked the AI to create a win condition, reaching wave 8 and finish the game. Even then, honestly, I wasn't impressed. The game was functional, sure, but it was not fun. So I challenged the AI to impress me. And I think I hit the nerve because it responded by creating a boss that literally couldn't be beaten. I spent 20 minutes trying to defeat that thing and it just wouldn't die. Once we sorted that out, I wanted to revisit the upgrade system again since it was lackluster. This is where things really fell apart. I wanted a very simple feature for one upgrade, and I wanted to have a shield object that blocks enemy projectiles around the player. It's not very complicated, right? But the AI went into some kind of loop and started hallucinating. And that's when I decided to stop vibing. Here's my takeaway from the vibe code experiment so far. It's not terrible. In about 7 hours, it created something from scratch. And it had a playable game with waves, different enemies, and bosses. But the fun ended when I noticed some of the code could be fixed very easily without needing to rewrite everything. For example, it completely rewrote the card code in a totally different way, ignoring how that affected all of the other code dependent on it. My pain threshold was, if debugging a component took more than an hour, I will switch hats and take over. It just didn't feel economical to my time and the sanity to keep pressing a button hoping that the slot machine will hit the jackpot. It has a beginning, middle, and end. There are some bugs and definitely have some moments of fun, but if you compare it to any other game out there, it definitely doesn't cut it yet. So the next day, I decided to put the AI aside and started working on the game feel and adding in components myself. I created a proper player sprite, fixed a resolution issue, and decided to add a camera system. Then I implemented a camera shake and sound effects. I fixed the shield and tackled all these problems that the AI couldn't handle without debugging back and forth for hours. And I spent the entire day polishing, bug fixing, and adding as much value as I could. And by the end, I had a good understanding of how everything works and focused on making the game feel coherent. Now the game pauses when you're selecting cards and there's a small delay before selection so you don't accidentally pick something while clicking around. And I also designed a new player sprite and added some enemy sprites. Since you're inside a computer program, I wanted it to visually represent that somehow. I also added a reload system that rewarded for clicking at the right moment. I still had an issue with the shield overlapping, but that was an easy fix. Next, I focused on nailing down the art style and neon effects. I added a light system similar to the one I have for Duck Norris Tales, and threw in a CRT effect to establish the final look. I also created new sprites for the bosses. To make the game feel more chaotic, I added weather effects to the scene. Since it's only a 5 to 10 minute game, I just needed to do some quick balancing and give it a bit of a challenge. And finally, I added a menu, an opening sequence, and an ending. And this is how the first 30 seconds look like. In conclusion, I think it's pretty impressive how a program creates stuff with simple text commands. Overall, this experience for me was net neutral. I don't think vibe coding will magically make you a better developer. Instead, it's encouraging you to rely on RNG, almost like they're gamified coding. You never know what you'll get, which is kind of addictive. The biggest issue I see is that we'll end up with developers who have no idea what's actually in their code base. With a larger project, bug fixing will be an absolute nightmare. Imagine the complexity of thousands of lines of code, and then the AI decides to just rewrite some components. It's going to be brutal. And a rude awakening is coming for companies that switch all their staff to prompt engineering. This approach really works for small, simple projects, but when it comes to big application and SaaS platforms dealing with people's private information, I'd rather have some human experience paired with AI to create bulletproof coding. I personally use AI for learning code, which I've been doing since AI became available. I love having a mentor available 24/7 to guide me and explain syntax to me. And if I'm getting stuck with something, I can just go have a banter about it, why it works and why it doesn't. And I feel it's an excellent way to learn and move forward, especially if you're a self-taught developer. My take is don't go all in with the vibes. We still need a human element in everything we do. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far and you're interested in optimizing things and becoming better, I've created a new Discord server for like-minded people who wants to take this journey to the next level, and you can find it in the links below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and a comment. It will really help me with the algorithm and help the channel grow. If you enjoyed this video, you'll enjoy this video as well. Thank you so much, and remember, just take it one day at a time, and I'll see you in the next video.